All right, so I'm recording this video. I was gonna put this in the last video, but it's way too long. I think it was approaching 30 minutes. So I'm gonna try to make this a little shorter and just kind of talk about, life after Perscolas. Okay. So just a quick recap. I went to I was a business analyst. Then I got laid off from a business analyst. Then I went over to I was trying to figure out, all right, what I want to do. I said, I want to do cyber. I was talking to, when I was a business analyst, an architect that I work with. We was talking about cybersecurity all the time. And I thought this is the perfect time to get into cybersecurity. So I looked up boot camps and I'm like, boot camps are expensive. And I just got laid off. So Perscolas was free. I thought it was like, I'm like, is this a scam? So I went to Perscolas, right? So I'm going to upload the other, it's one video I had about 2 years ago, and it's one I recently, I'm going to upload to talk about the curriculum. But anyhow, so from Perscolas, I went to my job, the job that I'm currently with now, and they hired a few of us from Perscolas, right? They hired, let me see, I think it was four total, or I think it was four, but I ended up working with about three people for about 3 years. We're going to our fourth year, and it was great. So let me talk about some things I think that was a little bit of a shock, and how, and kind of how we had to adjust. So let's start with one. When you first get to the job, you get introduced to so many systems, and I'm SOC analyst. I should mention that. So I'm a SOC analyst, senior SOC analyst now, and and really enjoying it. So let me talk about like when you first get into the job. When you first get into the job, tons of systems. You need to not be overwhelmed. I was okay with tons of systems because as a BA, you kind of get thrown a lot of stuff and just kind of have to figure it out. But in this case, we got training, so it was good. There was a guy there. He was there for a while, and he was the trainer. And yeah, we just sat there and we got on. We just got on a sim, and so sim, you can look that up. So we was on the sim, and then we kind of just started learning from there. Now some other things. You got the HR, but then you got all the other systems. Briefly, they say give you all the logins for this is this system, this is that system, this is this EDR tool. So we had like we had a couple sims and a couple EDR tools and some custom tools, for custom detections. So it was a lot, and you have to figure out what, all the communication channels, what we're talking about. I don't want to mention like software specifically. I just want to give you an idea. Just know that we had a few sims, and it would the main sim is busy. It's really busy, and well, that was the first thing that you got to get accustomed to it, the speed, and you have to know like what we're gonna what am I gonna see on a daily? How do you do the analysis? You have to come up with that verdict, right? Is this malicious or is it not? And so that was something to get used to. But I say, I adjusted fast. I think the entire team that I came in with adjusted fast. One thing is, learning hotkeys. You don't have to, but learning hotkeys was helpful, and also just understanding. I think on top of alerts being fast, understanding, okay, this is how you close it. This is how you would annotate it, meaning this is how you would close it with the notes, right? I'm closing this because and then if you're not closing it and you're reporting it, you need to understand the process to report it. So there's a process as well. So what I did in the first 3 months, I stayed on late, right? I really bonded with some of the team that was there before me, 2 guys, and I would stay on, right? I would stay on with those guys for like an hour or two, just kind of chopping it up, and then I would say, hey, I got a question on X, right? And I'll just kind of go over some things that I saw, and I'll say, how did y'all handle this? So that's a real big way of how handled how I kind of learned a lot faster. But we also had a lot of folks that was on the team for a while during shift that just answered questions good. You know, there's times where I'm like, I do not want to ask this person a question again, but I need to understand how to get to some things. And some of the questions wasn't necessarily analysis, like how you run that through the analysis. It was more so of finding things and where things live, right, at the company. But but let's stay on this topic about analysis and asking questions, because this is a big one. I think that when you ask questions, right, when you ask questions as a new analyst, or if this can be any job, I think you should ask questions in a way that show that you did something and you arrived somewhere, right? So what I mean is, let's say if I say, hey, I see this alert, what to do? That's a bad question, right? That's a really bad question. If you see an alert that you're not familiar with, you want to research what that alert is, and then you want to say, hey, I researched this. It appears to be this. This is my conclusion based on what I'm thinking, but I'm unsure, right, of if that's the right analysis. You should never just, hey, this is new. I've never seen this before. I never done that. But when we hired new analysts, they did that, and quite a lot. And it leads you down a road that's not favorable for you, right? So always, if you take nothing away, make sure when you ask questions, you did all you can do. And this don't mean take hours. This means, hey, you ran the analysis, you did it, and now you're stuck. Because it's okay to be stuck, but make sure you're stuck in a way where you try. Because everyone's busy for the most part, and it's almost like, if I have to do your work, then why are you here, type of thing. So always make sure you do everything that you can before you jump in. Oh, and I started this video and I already had this Perscola stuff up, but let me just switch to just this camera. But make sure you just do everything you can, right? I think that, it's getting dark here. I think that when you come in, you do everything you can. If you have to stay after things of that nature. I want to keep this short, but one other thing. When it comes to projects, right? I am working on projects. Just kind of, I got to work on cloud technology. So just think of, your big cloud providers. And I was able to work with clients to understand how to get certain data from data sources to the SIM. So working on projects, I think I enjoy working on projects. And I think anytime you get a shoulder tap, I was always taught, just take it if you can, right? That's what I learned. If you can, I was taught that if you get a shoulder tap, just take it. But what I realized is at one point I was just taking on a lot and, spread myself too thin. So if I had to give that same advice, I would say, hey, if we get a shoulder tap, make sure you actually can take the work. And if you can't, just say, hey, I'm really working on this. Can I maybe not work on in some other area that's not important, as important to take on this project? But if you can, just make sure you just take care of the stuff you can take care of, so that what you're working on gets finished really well. And if you're already working on, projects, don't put those projects down to work on other projects. But if your time is filled with projects and then like daily duties, if you can, limit your daily duties a little bit to go on more projects, I would ask that. But if you can't, make sure you do what you're working on well already. It's getting dark and I'm still, so the video might look weird, but that's okay. I think that's it. Right? Yeah, so if you do have any questions, just ask. I know I was kind of all over the place because I just did this really, really super long video before, and I didn't, and I don't have any scripts or anything. So I do have one other major update. I'm going to say that a little later, maybe next month. And yeah, we'll talk a lot about it. So yeah, peace.